Okay, I'm starting my live crying. Never done that before. Okay, man, today the topic that I had scheduled was on Be Humbly Bold, and honestly, it actually applies really well because I haven't prepared anything for this live, and I'm going on off the cuff, and I just got done with the meeting with my team, and there I didn't we just set it up as a place for people to come and join and talk about what they're feeling and what's going on. And it was amazing. I had, it was like 19 people show up, but I wasn't sure if we'd have anybody on the team show up. I just had it as an open forum. And so I'm going to wait for some people to get on here. But wow, I'm really grateful for the company we have and the people we have. And I'm trying to seek I'm trying to learn and I'm trying to understand and I'm trying to figure out how we can do better and be better and constantly and be an example too for companies out there for what the workplace can look like, and that trickles down into families, that trickles down into communities and into the world. So if we can figure out how to do it right in the workplace and in business, like that's entrepreneurship and business, like that is where it starts to make a difference. And okay, so we get some people on now. Um, so yeah, that's why so for those that don't know, I have a company, it's called The Center, and the vision statement for the center is to simplify the human experience through business. And I have felt called to do this business, and I just knew there was a reason. I don't know why. Honestly, I wanted to be a mom. But God said, nope, you got to do this too. Last week, I was going to do a live with our coach. She specializes in diversity and inclusion, and this was before all of this went down, and her diversity and inclusion is around the concept of really looking at the inside of people and what they bring and their skills and their attributes and their qualities and their experiences and their everything that makes us unique as human beings. And we actually had a pretty hard conversation with marketing and with the company before this. And yeah, I know, Clayton, right? Like I started this bawling, and I started, and we had this conversation. So this was probably 2 weeks ago, and it was around the concept of diversity and inclusion. And I told him, I said, I can't focus on race and gender and all that. I have to see people for people. Like I can't focus on that. Like, and so it was this back and forth discussion because I'm like, I don't define diversity and inclusion that way. I define it as I want to see people. I love people. I want to see them for what they bring to the table. Just like as a woman, like it's we all have unique strengths and qualities, and it was a difficult one because it was like, well, we're a company, we have to be really careful on what we're doing, and I agree. But after this last week, I realized like things are changed. Like this no longer is just a company. Like we are a way to show an example for others, to show an example for other businesses and what could be. Like it's no longer just a business. Our vision is, if it's really to simplify the human experience, that means we have to go and as the story that's going around is a lot about the 99 and the one lost sheep, like the Christian story around that, and how if the 99 sheep are okay, you need to go after the one and you need to go find them. And so that's what I've been softened in that area. And Clayton, who's on, he's really enlightened us a lot on the Black culture and community and what we can do to help. And we don't have all the answers yet as a company. But what I do know is I just left this meeting with 19 people on, And there was a lot of love and a lot of sharing. And we come from all walks of life, all political backgrounds, religious backgrounds, like, but we all agree on one thing, and that's why we're united, is because we see people for people, and we love people, and we love each other. And there was lots of tears in that meeting, um, and so we've created this culture that's safe. In fact, so much that we joke that it takes employees a couple months to actually realize that they're in a safe place, that they can speak what they're saying. And so I realized we're not just a company anymore. We can now be an example for other companies and what they can do. The thing that makes us unique as a company is that we are 100% virtual. And I've done lots of lives prior to this on why being virtual is so great. Well, I just found another one. So we only have one Black person on our team, Clayton. We've had others in the past, but we are pretty diverse. Like, we have people that are Mexican, from Germany, from Yanni his history is from India, but I think he grew up on some island somewhere. Like, we have quite a bit of diversity in that way, because we can hire all over. If I was only hiring in Boise, Idaho, most likely most of my company would be white, because there's not a ton of diversity here. And the diversity we do have, there's an English language barrier gap right now on that. And so I realized that while not all companies could probably do what we can do, because we are 100% virtual, like, we can be um, a guiding light for that, to try to, not saying that it's you'll understand with me, I'm not a numbers person. Like, I'm not a person that got to meet quotas, but more than anything, I want to show employers to create a safe environment, a safe place. Like, that I feel like is the difference of how you can be humbly bold, since that's my topic today. And that is how, as a company and as businesses, we can do better, is we can create safe places for for people of all cultures and all backgrounds, and all colors, to come and feel like they can be in a safe place, that they can speak what they're thinking and what they're feeling. And Clean was talking about how he has to go and have these talks with his son. And you know what? I don't have to do that as much. I mean, I'm going to do it from their perspective so they can empathize and try to understand. But we don't have to do it from the standpoint of, you're probably going to walk into these struggles because of your color. And the fact that we're still having this conversation, it sucks. Honestly, we shouldn't be. And so we need to figure out how to change. And somebody in our group said it well. It was like, holy cow, 2020, can we be done? Like, no, but it's good. Like, this is good. Like, there's so much good that can come from this, like, between the virus and like, everybody, like, is on their heels. That's what he said. Everybody is on their heels. And so it is a perfect time for change. It is a perfect time for healing. It is a perfect time to understand one another and see where each other are coming from. And like I said, I'm not going to play the numbers game, but I am going to go and invite and to try. We have a unique opportunity to have more diversity, to have the ability to those people that are that one lost sheep, right? Go out and invite them to come be a part, because that we are a safe place for them. And so, because they know they have a safe place, then we can be an example for how other companies and other communities can be a safe place. And we walked away with the meeting with more questions and answers when we were discussing, like, how we as a company can make a difference and change. But what we do know is we will see people for people, and we will invite others to come and to be a part of the safe place that we've created. And whether that's customers, whether that's employees, whether that's partners, like, we want to unite with like-minded people that want to create a safe place. And what safe means is that we all have history, we all have experiences, we all have things that maybe we're traumatized by, that affect us, and maybe makes us to where we struggle showing our true self or our authentic self. And I have lived by authenticity. I love authenticity. And I learned something. Holy cow, I've had all kinds of learning experiences. In marketing, you should always talk about, this is my ideal client, and you want to screen them before they're a client, and you don't want anybody else to come in that isn't our right client, right? So that's kind of the way it's talked about in marketing. And then I had this aha moment because it's different for what the culture we've created, because we had this person that we didn't think was going to be our ideal client, and we're like, it's kind of rough. It's like, I don't know if we can really work with them. And then one-on-one, it was like, he's actually okay. Like, I think he'll be okay. And then when he started to get his history and his background of what was going on, it's like, he's traumatized. Like, he's had bad marketing agencies. He's had bad PR and bad, all this stuff is happening. So it's like, it's not, again, I feel like these are all, like, in a sense, lost sheep that, like, we have an opportunity as a company to help and to inspire and to help them become a better version of themselves, right? I talk about that all the time, being true to your purpose and becoming a better version of yourself. Like, that is what are I live and breathe as the purpose and the vision of our company. And we're doing that through entrepreneurship. And so I realized that it happens the same with our employees. Like, they come on and, like, I don't know if they're going to be good at this. Like, they're not taking ownership. They're not, like, they're not taking, like, risks, like getting out and just jumping in. And then we realized it's because they came from traumatized employers that told them what they had to do, and they were controlling them, and this is how you're going to do it. And so, like, we're getting this from clients, we're getting this from employees and partners that we work with. And I'm thinking, just because they're coming in the door traumatized doesn't mean we can't show them the better way. And it's crazy to think that we're doing it through business, but entrepreneurship, I believe, is the way to make the difference. Because what happens is if we show this, if we can do it as a company, like Clayton's on right now, right? And he, from Indonesia, awesome, Mohammed. And so if we can do this as a company, right? Like, we've now given Clayton a safe place to work. He can now show that, there are safe places to his family, and because he's healing, and he's in a, I'm going to read, Clayton's going to give me insight too, because I'm speaking for him, which I am not the right person to speak with. So I'm glad you're on, Clayton. And it's like, if he can then have a safe place here, then how can that spread into his family, and then allowing him to let them feel safe and know that there are safe places to be, and seeking those out, seeking those places that are safe. And then from there, they can then go out into their communities and make a difference and build up their communities. And then ultimately that's going to impact the world. And then we can inspire other companies to do the same thing. And then they hire employees. Again, people for people. Like, it's not, I on social media, I've seen so much about almost people being guilted and shamed into making sure they meet numbers and do numbers. And I want numbers to be the result. I'm not saying that the numbers shouldn't change. Like, I want it to be very clear on that. I know the numbers need to change, but I feel like the numbers is a result. It is a result of something else we can do. And I realize that it's what Clayton says, when you seek to understand, we uncover trauma. And once trauma is identified, we can address and solve for it. So to do that, we have to have a safe place. We have to have a safe work culture, and invite, not just say, here we are, but, like, actually go out, find those lost sheep and invite them to be a part of our safe culture, and be like, look, this is how we are. We see people for people. We don't look at skin color. We don't look at all that. Like, we look past that. And I know that the Black community wants that. Like, so much as they're saying, like, we want more numbers, like, I think really what they're saying is, we want you to invite, like, we want to be a part of what you have. And so while they're saying numbers, I'm going to translate and clean. I hope it sounds like I'm on the right path. I'm kind of winging it here. I want we need as companies to, one, create the safe culture, create the safe environment, and then go out and then invite them in to be like, look, you're good here. Like we're gonna love you. We're gonna see you as a people. And so I don't know. I know I'm rambling, and I came off this meeting. I'm like with the team, and the meeting was about just people coming in and being able to openly share. Because I realized like we are a community, and on social media it's so divided and toxic. And I'm like, we have such a good culture. We got to bring it together because I'm going crazy reading social posts, and I'm like, I need to feel my soul back up, and so just seeing everybody come together and speak and be understanding, and it was amazing. And so I just realized that we have something special. I know I've said that before in my lives, like we really do have something special. And I told the team, I said, we no longer are just a company. We are an example for the world. We are the shining light for the world. Like we're not perfect by any means, but we have a base, like, and we're gonna continue to navigate it. And I told them we're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna do this wrong, but we're gonna hopefully be led along this journey. I hope God is going to lead me on this journey, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where we're going. I just know we have something special, and I want to inspire other companies to do the same. Yes, Chris, we want to be the example. We want to show people what can happen, and so the way, so you might maybe have heard the word "be humbly bold" before. That's the title of this live, and the way that's been my motto for a long time. And the reason why is because for a lot of years I was just kind of just reactionary, or like let people influence me. I didn't stand my ground. I didn't stand up for what I believed in, and who I was. And so I made a commitment one year to be more humbly bold. So I use the word humbly because we obviously don't want to just be bold and be mean to people. We want to be sensitive, and we want to, again, seek to understand and to learn and to be vulnerable and authentic. And so I always preface bold with humbly, because it really has been my motto of how I live my life, to be like, look, I'm stand up for improving the human experience, but I'm kind of feeling like I'm alone a little bit. Like I want others to get behind that same mission and vision that I have. And I'm not alone in the company by any means, or the clients we have. I'm not saying that, but I feel like with what I'm reading right now, it's like we want to. I think we all want the same thing. We're just saying it maybe the wrong way. And I love reading comments because with what you guys are saying. So Chris Mueller, he's on our team. He says, to love and win is the best thing. To love and lose is the next best. So yeah, I mean, I think you have to be willing to. It's all about love. You have to have love, but we have to go forward, and we have to be willing to take risks. We have to be willing to make mistakes, and we're going to. And we might get chastised for it. We might get people berating us and hating us for the mistake we made, and we'll own up to it if we do. But at the end of the day, we're going to love people, and we're gonna take risks and see what kind of a difference we can make in the world, to try to show people that we are a safe place to be. And anyways, I think I've said it. I'm gonna continue this discussion down the road. Like I'm just continuing learning. Like literally, I learned so much of what I just said now at the meeting I was just at. And so I don't know the way forward yet. I just know that I love people. I want people to feel like they have a safe place. I've seen what the changes that can happen in people by working here. They come from trauma, whether it's trauma because of you're Black and the racism that you felt, whether it's trauma because you left an employer that was toxic and micromanaged you and controlled you, and you didn't feel like you could have a safe place to be. Like we all come from this trauma in these walks of life, and we need to be better at trying to understand where people are coming from and not being so quick to judge. And I know that I am guilty of that. And I am trying to be more vulnerable and willing to seek to understand where people are coming from. And just because they aren't coming in the door already laced up, ready to go in the right direction, doesn't mean that they're not still the right culture fit for us. And it doesn't mean that we don't have accountability and we don't have standards and we don't set the bar high, because we do. Like those people that don't, like they don't make it in our culture. But we've seen so many times where people have come in, we thought they're the right culture, and then they became better than we ever thought they could be. And I love that. And I love seeing people become a better version of who they ever thought they could be. And so Clayton says, I think the more you say it, the more people you'll see share your same values. I agree. Like, I think we're saying, I believe, I mean, I always use that 80-20 rule, right? I'm just going to use the same thing. I believe 80% of us all believe the same thing. I think we're all, like, we all want the same thing. Like, as humans, we all have our legitimate needs we all need, right? I talk about this a lot. We have our physical needs, our intellectual needs, our spiritual needs, and our social needs. We all need and want the same thing. Like I mentioned in another video, I had a exit interview with a gay employee we had, and he's like, it was amazing meeting together. And he's like, he just thanked me and said, look, I realize that you and I were more alike than we are different. And the things you see here on the news, it's not like that. And I agree. I think you're right, Clayton. I think we do share more of the same values than we realize. So even though it feels divisive out there, let's get under that layer. Let's go deeper. Like, it's natural for humans. We work at this high level, this surface level, right? Like, our emotions are there, everything's heightened, and let's go deeper. Like, let's get deeper. And then when we go deeper, like, I think we'll find, like, we share a lot of the same values, like Clayton was saying. And then I'm going to read Clayton's next statement, because these are awesome. My team is awesome. See, they're on here and they're making great quotes, and they speak better than I could ever speak. So he says, maybe this is the diversity and inclusion path you can continue. Sometimes it's just giving people like me a platform to be heard. Clayton, so I love that you said that, because I did this thing on my personal page, and I said that, like, look, I am a white woman. I am a blank canvas. I came from California. My best friend was Mexican. I went to Tijuana and met her family. Like, and I had this aha moment. I said, the reason why I learned to love them and love their culture was because I was able to understand them. I was able to understand where they're coming from, their culture, their values, the things that made them unique and great. Like, I loved differences. I love that. Like, I tell my daughter this all the time. I said, you don't want to be me. Like, we want to be different. Like, I don't want us to be all the same, which is why I struggle again with the numbers thing. It's like, I want to see people for people. I love the differences we all have. I couldn't have this business if we weren't all different. I've done this before. I've hired a bunch of me's in a company who all thought like me. It's a terrible way to go. You want differences. You want different experiences of people. And so I think you're right, Clayton. I actually said this in the video. I said, I think the solution, and this was my aha moment in the middle of the night, like, I'm thinking through all this stuff. I said, just like I learned to love the Mexican culture, the way I did that was through understanding and learning and giving them, like you said, a platform to be heard and to understand. And so I would love to figure out how to make that, Clayton, maybe you have some ways to help your community, like, help the Black community be heard and understood, and get past that ugly layer that we're all feeling right now. Let's get down to the deep layer that we all have as humans that make us our core, like that. It's that heart and that mind that I talk about together, that spiritual connection, that we're all spiritual beings. It's not just religious thing. It's a human thing. Like, we are spiritual beings. We long to connect with each other emotionally, and we sob, we cry in our meetings as a company. And why? It's because we've developed that spiritual connection. Like Tony Robbins always says, business is a spiritual game. It is. The problem is most businesses aren't playing the spiritual game. What they're doing is they're looking at the physical aspects and the intellectual aspects, and they're only looking at the numbers and the stats, and they're playing again at that high level, that surface level. They're not willing to go deep and say, so what is it that's our core? I'm working on, I'm really passionate about this because I've been working on this book about purpose, values, and vision. And so often it's been like the nasty business plan or the values and mission statements, like nobody agrees on what they are. And there's just this boring thing. And I'm like, this shouldn't be boring. Like, this should be the core of what we are as a company. It should be amazing and great. And so as I've been writing this, I'm like, we got to change. Like Chris says, it's time for a fresh start. I agree. Throw out the business plans, throw out all this stuff. Like, we're going to set the framework for all of you. Like, we're going to say, okay, here's how to get deeper as a company, to get spiritual as a company. Then I know that's not the only angle you were talking about, Chris. And then let's go out and be able to say, okay, let's go out and understand people. Let's see where they're coming from. And let's just start talking and getting discussions going and showing that there are safe places to be and to go. And so I love that. Tony, so Chris, oh yeah, break the pattern. Tony Robbins says break the pattern. It really is. Like, I've heard change your story. Like, if we're just going to do the same thing over and over again, it's like what they call insanity, right? Trying to get a different result by doing the same thing over and over again. We are at a unique place right now. Like, this is actually exciting. We are at a time where we have an opportunity to change. We have an opportunity to make the world more united, a better place. And we can do that through breaking our old patterns and changing. And these are the times, like, you see, like, companies now doing little tweaks. Like, kind of the stigma around is like people are giving worse customer service because they're using the COVID-19 as a cop out to do that. I'm not saying that that's right. I'm saying people are using this as a reason to do certain things. Some are using it for bad, and I hope the majority can look at this as a way to do more for good. And so, yep, Clayton, I agree. Let's talk. Let's do this stuff. We're meeting as a team and as a company again at 5 today. And it's good. Like, we didn't walk away from the meeting before with answers, but we're going to go again in this meeting and really figure out how we can be. I take for granted what we have, like, as a company. I really do. And so we're going to figure out how to inspire other companies to be a certain way too. And I don't want to feel, with what I'm seeing again on social about being shamed and guilt for numbers and things like that. Like, I'm worried that if we go down that path, that's going to make things worse. And I think we all want the same things. So we just have to take a step back and realize that if we can, I lost my train of thought, but if we can, like I've said, like, seek to understand and to learn and create that safe place. I had a much better thing I was going to say, but I can't remember. So, but regardless, I'm excited. I'm excited with where we're headed as a company. We have amazing minds on this team, and I hope that we can be a light and an example for the world of what an employer can be like. And then from there, they can influence their employees, and then those employees can influence their families. And then, if they want to start a company, we can help them get to where they need to go. I've always believed that entrepreneurship is a grassroots way to change the world. I think we can all agree politically it's not working. So let's go back to the in the media, that's not working. Like, I think we're all left, right, middle, I don't know where. I think we're all in agreement that we're just tired of the government and the media. So if we can all agree on that, like, let's go back to let's see what we can do as people to make a difference and to change and come together and unite and show the power that's in community and in groups. And I love that. And so Chris says, even without the right answers, it's good to feel what is wrong and go the other way. I agree. Yeah, for sure. I know I keep changing my tune a little bit each day. I learn a little more, and it's kind of that line upon line. We learn and we grow. So, all right. I know I keep rambling. I'm stopping. We're gonna meet again as a company at 5. I'm gonna keep you guys updated. I'll do some just random lives. I know I usually have scheduled lives on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I just want to keep you the pulse and maybe Clayton, we can get on a live together again. I think it might be a good place to be or good thing to do because you really are going to be a great sounding voice for our company and a way that we can help the Black community. So I'm going to be relying a lot on you to help lead and guide me along this journey. So thanks, everyone. I love you all. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.